Hello everyone and welcome back to another math video. Today we're going to be talking about how to factor quadratics where the leading coefficient, the a, is not equal to 1, so similar to the problems that you see up on the screen here. Just a reminder, this is the speedrun version where we go through it pretty quickly. If you want the normal version, I'll link that in the description below. For your Ricasso Recap, you should already know how to do factoring by grouping, and you should know factoring shortcuts like difference of squares and perfect square trinomials. If you want refreshers on these topics, I'll link videos in the description below. Please go watch those before you start this lesson. All right, new lesson starts now. Here we go. So, first, step 1, is it in standard form? Yes. Step 2, is there a greatest common factor? No, there's not. Now, there are 3 terms. Okay, so the first thing we check, is it a perfect square trinomial? It is not, okay? And so now we need a new way to solve this problem, and the new way is a times c add to b, right? It has a nice little ring to it. A times c add to b. So a, b, and c, a is always next to the squared term, so here it's the 2, it's the coefficient. B is always in the middle. C is always by itself, it has no variable. It's called the constant. So I have this chart over here. We're going to use this chart throughout the lesson. And we need to do, remember the phrase, a times c add to b. So we do a times c, so that's 2 times 2 equals 4. And they have to add up to b, right? So b is 5. So let's fill out this chart. Notice it says factors of a times c. So what times what will give me 4? What times what will give me 4? Well, 1 and 4 and 2 and 2. But you also, for this lesson, need to keep in mind negatives as well. So negative 1 and negative 4 would also multiply to give me positive 4, and negative 2 and negative 2. All right, a times c add to b. So we're going to add each of these pairs, right? 1 plus 4 is 5. 2 plus 2 is 4. And so on down the list. And which one of them gave us our b term, right? Which one of them gave us the 5? Well, the first pair did actually. This one works, does not work, does not work, does not work. So these numbers right here, this 1 and 4, these are the magic numbers, the magic pair. And what we do with the magic pair, here was our original problem, and we're going to split 5y into our magic pair, 1 and 4. We're going to do 1y plus 4y. You could have done 4y plus 1, doesn't matter. These stay exactly the same. Okay, no change. And now you will notice that now we have 4 terms. So we're going to do factoring by grouping, which we should already be very familiar with. So here's the work for factoring by grouping and your final answer, right? So if you have 3 terms that are not a perfect square trinomial, you do this a times c add to b, and then you do factoring by grouping. All right, for this problem type, step 1, is it in standard form? Check. Step 2, is there a greatest common factor? No, there's not. Done. 3 terms. It's not a perfect square trinomial. So we again need to do a times c add to b. So a equals 5, b equals 24, c equals negative 5. Whoops, ran out of space there. C equals negative 5. All right, we do a times c, so 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. And they need to add up to 24. So what times what gives me negative 25? 1 and 25, 5 and 5. They need to multiply to give me negative 25, so that would be negative 1 times positive 25. And also I skipped a pair, right? Because you could also do positive 1 and negative 25. And then here, negative 5, positive 5. When I add up these numbers, this one gives me 24, 0, negative 24. The magic number we're looking for is 24, so no, no, yes. Magic pair, negative 1 and 25. So we do the split, 5j squared minus 1j plus 25j minus 5. And now we do our normal factoring by grouping. And so here is the work and final answer. All right, last problem type. Is it in standard form? Check. Is there a greatest common factor? There is a greatest common factor here. We need to factor out a 6 before we do anything else. T squared minus 2t minus 8. And now we go through our normal process. Is it a perfect square trinomial? No, it is not. So we do a times c add to b. Notice that we are going to do the a times c add to b only for the part that's in parentheses. Ignore the 6 for now. And then only at the end, right, do we bring the 6 down and put it in the front. All right, here's our cool clock for today, which means that it's time for you to practice what you just learned. Go ahead and pause the video and try these 2 problems on your own. And when you're ready, you can unpause the video and we'll check your answers. Okay, now that you've had time to work these problems, let's check your solutions. Okay, for the first problem here is the work and final answer. And for the second problem here is the work and final answer. Whoops, I'm not in full screen. There we go. All right, that's it for today. I hope you all have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.